Hello everyone and welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. If this is your first video you have seen of mine, I'm Shelby. Thank you for watching, and as you can tell by the title of this video, I want to talk about an album that is going to be 6 years old at the end of this year, and that is One Direction's Made in the AM. And I want to talk about why I still love that album to this day. One Direction is a group that was absolutely massive, and you knew they were a powerful group because even though they were very successful as a band, the members, since their hiatus, we call it hiatus, I think it's just since the band has been over, we're all being honest with ourselves, but since their last album was released, Made in the AM, in 2015, all of the members are doing all right for themselves. They've released solo music and they've done different projects. But why do I want to talk about Made in the AM right now? I want to talk about Made in the AM because one thing about One Direction is I don't think they ever got enough credit as a band other than their fan base. What I mean by that is you gotta admit that they were a very powerful band because literally all five members, previous members of One Direction, have continued to have successful careers in their own right, whether it's with music or in other capacities. And that doesn't always happen. Like, that really did not always happen with other boy bands in the early 2000s and 90s. There was always like that one or two standout person, but 1D was totally different in that everyone really contributed. And I think that that is amazing. And the reason why Made in the AM, I think in particular, does not get enough credit is because it was their last album. It was an album with only four of them because that is when Zayn left. But the album is really good music. The album has mature themes, mature songwriting, and I just kind of want to talk about it track by track as to why I still enjoy it so much. So a little background, One Direction had 4 albums before Made in the AM, and each album you could see that they were maturing. The very first album was definitely like bubblegum pop. Take Me Home was still very poppy, less bubblegum pop, but still very much so pop. And then Midnight Memories starts going more rock, pop rock. And then 4, it just keeps evolving until we get to Made in the AM, which I think has fabulous songwriting and good experimentation. And vocally, I think because of the fact that Zayn left the group, vocally all 4 members I think really stepped up their game and Made in the AM, especially Harry Styles, because Harry Styles up until that point did not really take on a ton of the big notes in songs. Like, it was kind of like a Liam and Zayn thing that they did. But Harry really expanded his vocal range for Made in the AM, which is what we see now in his solo music. So that was huge in itself. Just being able to tell how all 4 really brought it vocally and Made in the AM, really pushing themselves, I think, to make up for the fact that they did lose one member for that album. Let's start at the first song on the track list for Made in the AM, and that is the song Hey Angel. I literally love Hey Angel because I will never I literally still remember hearing it for the first time. Hey Angel opens with these beautiful strings, and it kind of explodes into it with a nice music intro with Liam doing some high vocals. And I just remember hearing even that beginning intro and just feeling so excited for what was to come on the album, and so proud because it was very different sounding from anything One Direction had done up until that point. And lyrically, I love the message of that song too. It has great lyrics, and Harry Styles completely destroys the vocals on that song. And then the bridge with Louis and Liam harmonizing, it is so catchy. It's done so well, and it just gets stuck in my head. Everything about Hey Angel, it felt like slightly Coldplay-esque to me. And there are a couple other songs on this album that felt Coldplay-esque, but I felt like it was the perfect blend of what adult One Direction could sound like and should sound like together. And I just thought it was such a beautiful opening number, and I am devastated that I never got to see them perform it live because they never toured with this album, and I just remember being so bummed knowing I was never going to see it live. Not cool. Drag Me Down is the second track, and it was the first single from Made in the AM, and it was the first song that was released without Zayn. I think it's a very powerful single for that reason, because the lyrics, obviously, nobody can drag me down, and also vocally, that was the first time, the end of that song vocally was the first time I really heard Harry Styles go after it with like a riff, because really wasn't really his part in the group to do that up until that point. So that was really impressive in itself. And it was definitely more rock kind of sounds, which was something that One Direction 100% had done in 4 and Midnight Memories. So it just felt like a very familiar yet powerful first single for the album. A few other songs I want to highlight from this album that if you are someone who has never listened to it, that I think you should really give a chance. The first one is Infinity, 100% Infinity. It has soaring vocals for the chorus from the group, and it has a really nice explosion of a music bridge. And it was supposed to be a single, apparently, and then for some reason it never did become a single, and I'm actually really upset that it never did, because when I heard Infinity, I thought, you know what, that could be a song that I think would actually take the group truly mainstream beyond just their fans. Kind of like Story of My Life, you know, that's the song that gets played other than like, you know, the early singles. Story of My Life is a song that a lot of people, whether they realize it or not, know by One Direction. I really felt like Infinity could have been that too. So I was pretty bummed that it didn't become a single. But once again, that song is a huge example of the maturity that had happened in the band at that point. It's just another example of a song that really showed to everyone, if you didn't already know, that they weren't just some like teenage boy band. They truly did have genuine and do have genuine musicianship within them and within the group. I Could Fly is a beautiful piano ballad that, once again, One Direction up until that point didn't really have like a true, just like simple piano ballad, and it has them all singing very tenderly. And in fact, If I Could Fly was a One Direction song that Harry Styles sang on tour solo, which was beautiful to hear him sing it acoustic solo. You know, still kind of wish I could have heard it with all members of the band, but it's fine. Olivia is one that Harry Styles co-wrote, and it just makes you feel like happy English Beatles-esque kind of vibe. And I think Olivia is really great because now, knowing the type of music Harry Styles has made solo-wise, Olivia was a very good taste of what you could possibly expect from his solo career. And looking back on it, I love that that was quite honestly a very good sneak peek of what was to come from him. I think What a Feeling would have been a great song to have on like adult contemporary radio. Super easy listening, a wonderful drive song. Some people I know love it, some people hate it. I think it's a great one. 2 insanely fun songs on this album that really showed how they were using their voice as some of the melody and some of the like beats in the song were Wolves and Never Enough. Those 2 songs are very unique because they're not a cappella. They're not pure a cappella songs, but they rely a lot on all of the members of the group contributing together and singing in harmonies. And I absolutely think vocally they are great. Not only vocally they're great, but they're just incredibly fun songs that I still listen to those songs a lot, whether I'm like working out or I just want something to lift my spirits. I 100% will play those. Love You Goodbye is, once again, lyrically, Love You Goodbye is a very mature song about a breakup. And, you know, I think you can figure out what Love You Goodbye means. And it's like very sentimental, very emotional. And on top of that, another song that has some pretty deep meaning lyrically is Walking in the Wind. I really love the lyrics of Walking in the Wind. It has a beautiful kind of inspiring but also sad message to it, and vocally it just sounds like a song that made perfect sense for them to have as a group. It just felt very true to One Direction. I know this is a bit of a rambly video, but I mean, truly, I love all of the songs on this album, but I wanted to call out some of these specific songs because I know with a lot of the videos I've made and a lot of people who most consistently watch my videos, they probably do not listen to One Direction music. Who knows if they're even gonna click on this video. But I'm a really big advocate of being open-minded when it comes to music and not sticking people in a bubble or sticking artists in a bubble. And naturally, One Direction, they were teenagers when they were formed on a reality TV show, X Factor. So naturally, how they started, they definitely got thrown into like, oh, the fangirls, teenage boy band sort of thing. But they did grow into adults during their time together. And truly, if you listen to all of their albums, you can hear very distinctly that their music grew exponentially every album. It grew in the messages of the songs from the lyrics. It grew it in like musicianship wise with the production and maybe having a little bit more of like interesting melodies going on. But also vocally, you could tell the members were growing album to album. And I just personally feel like they never quite got the respect they deserve. And since now so many of the members are having successful solo careers, I mean, a lot of people love Zayn's music. And even I'm talking about Made in the AM, seriously, listen to Midnight Memories or 4, you know, those two albums too that have Zayn on them. You can tell that this band truly, I think, was so necessary for all of them because it's when they got to grow up and figure out fame, but they also really got to hone in and figure out what we like to do as a group and what we can do individually. I would really encourage you to give this a chance, give it a listen if you haven't done so already. I can't promise it's going to be like, wow, this is like the coolest and best thing I've ever heard. But I can pretty safely say if you have an open mind and you listen to it, you're probably going to find some stuff in there that you like, and you're probably going to walk away realizing that they were so much more than just like a teeny bopper boy band. They were always so much more than that. Okay. First album is a pass. Like, let's just forget about What Makes You Beautiful and go get like through the years, they just evolved so much. So please give it a chance, give it a listen. I hope you enjoy it. I still like listening to the album, and let me know in the comments if you do like this album, what songs are your favorite. Like I said, overall, I think it's a very strong pop rock album, so I'm into it, but I would love to know what songs are your favorite in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. It means so much to me if you subscribe, and thank you for watching, especially if you made it until the very end of this video. And until next time.